Welcome back. You're still tuned in the Midday Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network, channel 500 on Star Set. Now, for our favorite feature of the show, we are joined today by TINNA MASEKO, who is a realtor and also a CEO of a fragrance line. But I will allow her to introduce herself. Hello, TINNA.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
So just to start it off, just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and where your journey of where you are now started.
Well, first of all, I'm a mom to 5 kids.
5, wow.
All aged between the ages of 8 and 21. And I was born in Maseko, in Zimbabwe, and but I moved here about 7 years ago, and I've been based here. I'm a businesswoman. I've just been. It's a long journey, but in a nutshell, I'm a mom. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a child of God.
TINNA, you look so young. You have 5 kids. I was just taken by that.
I'm looking at her like ever since you said 5 kids, I've been like
5 whole kids.
How?
Believe me.
And also since you're saying they are like between the age of 8 and 21, because I'm expecting maybe there's a toddler and then there's like wow.
It's amazing. Now just tell us about your journey now of becoming this businesswoman that you are today. Where did it all start?
Well, I've just always been passionate. I've worked in corporate. I've run family businesses, and so when I moved here, I worked a bit in corporate as well. I worked for law firms, I worked for investment companies, and then I ended up in real estate.
Yes.
It's something that I had always been interested in, but I joined real estate about 2 years ago. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I love it.
So tell us about like real estate. What happens? Like what type of a business is it really?
Well, real estate basically involves the buying and selling of properties. And as a real estate agent, you are essentially responsible for facilitating those transactions.
And now looking at the fact that it's been COVID-19, how has that affected now that industry as a whole?
Well, funny enough, it's affected us positively. Well, not affected, it is impacted us positively. Yes. I guess people had time to sit and think about what they really wanted. People were on the internet a lot. And I think people, to some extent, realize that real estate is a lucrative an investment option. It's a lucrative wealth building option. And also with the interest rates that dropped, the lending interest rates that have just dropped, that were announced by the government a few months ago, we see a lot of activity in real estate now because everyone wants to take advantage of that opportunity.
So I know a lot of people want to like get in property investment. When is the right time to actually buy or sell, and what age can you like now start investing in property?
Well, personally, in my experience, most of the clients that I deal with are aged between the ages of 25 to 45. So I see a lot of young people starting to understand that investing in real estate is a long-term wealth investment. So there is no right age, you know, there is no right age. But starting whilst you're younger, you have an advantage because obviously you have more time to grow your portfolio if that's what you're trying to do. So I would say as soon as you can. As soon as you can, if you've got a job, if you've got a well-paying job and you can pay back your home loans, then just start immediately.
So actually there's this joke that I've seen on the internet where this guy was like, oh, I actually fell asleep on my phone and I woke up and I accidentally bought a house. So so basically my question is it that easy? Like what is the process of actually owning a property? And yeah, like just please take us through the process.
Well, there's different scenarios or different ways to look at it. But then if you don't have hard cash, to pay full price for a property, then you can always look at lending from a bank, a loan from the bank, at that option. But obviously you need to have a good credit score, you need to have a healthy financial standing, and you obviously need to afford to pay back what you've borrowed from the bank. So it's really quite easy. It's I think a lot of people think it's a complex process, but it's actually not. All you need to do is find a real estate agent that you can approach and help you in the process of buying. But basically, the real estate agent will guide you throughout the whole process, but which starts by getting you pre-qualified for a loan, looking at what the banks are willing to offer you. And then from there, you will obviously, once you know what you actually can afford, you can obviously go and find a property and put an offer on it, and then the banks will do the rest.
So does it happen that, you know, we live in times where there are a lot of scams, you know, so how do I know if maybe I wanted to buy a property or a house? How do I know then that, you know, I'm actually consulting with the right person?
This is why you need to work with reputable companies. You know, there's obviously brands out there, real estate companies. So you obviously need to do your checks. There is a board that governs us as real estate agents, which is called the EAAB, the Estate Agency Affairs Board. And every single real estate agent is registered with that board. It's a professional board. So if you meet a real estate agent that's maybe you met them online on the internet, you can always phone the EAAB and check if they are registered with them. So as long as they are registered with the EAAB, then there is a governing body that they're falling under, and everything should be in check. But if you're not sure, obviously check with the EAAB, but stick with the reputable companies.
Now, I just want to ask maybe about the different types of real estate investments that there are. Can you just walk us through those?
Okay, there's many types, many ways of getting into real estate. But okay, the first option would be the real estate investment trusts, which is companies or trust companies that invest in real estate. So you would obviously go and buy stock or shares from those kind of companies. That's another option. So it's kind of like passive income, where you go and buy shares in a company that invests in real estate. And the other way would be to buy residential property and obviously rent it out, put tenants in place, and then you earn a rental income from the property. You can do the same with commercial property as well. You can buy a commercial property and rent it out to businesses. The advantage with commercial properties is that you have long leases, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years leases. So you know you've got rental income for quite a bit of time. And then there's crowdfunding as well, or stokvels, if you like to call them, where there's groups of people that get together, they put their monies together, and then they invest it back in real estate.
Does it really work?
It does. I'm actually working with a couple of stokvels that are buying.
Okay.
Yes. So it does. So if you can't afford to go and buy on your own, or you don't have a good credit score to qualify to buy on your own, just try to find a crowdfund or a stokvel that you can join. You guys put your monies together. It's happening all over Africa, all over South Africa.
I see Krula's face. You want to ask how it actually works? How it actually works, right?
If you get my number, I'll link you up with some.
Wow, I would love to know that, because you know the only stokvel I know, you know, is when, like, you know.
No, people are getting together, especially women. Women are buying properties together, so it's quite an exciting time for property. And then the last, it's not the last, but then the last I'll share now is land, which would be buying land and then developing the land, putting apartments there, or whatever it is that you feel like building, for obviously a profit or a return. But this, you obviously need to do this if you have real estate experience, and because there's a lot of things involved, and then there's a lot of capital that goes into that kind of business.
So starting out, how much are we looking at? Maybe how much amount of money should I have to actually maybe start investing? Maybe even with these stock fields, how much are we looking at?
There's, like I said, I gave you different options, right? So it depends what on which kind of investment you could try to go through. With the real estate investment trusts, there is no minimum. If you decide to invest 1,000 rands, if you decide to invest because what you're buying is just a portion of a real estate company. So that would be a quicker option of getting yourself into real estate for a lesser amount of money if you don't have that much to invest. Or you can buy a property, and then there's flipping properties as well. You can buy a property, a distressed property. Renovate it, make improvements on the property, and then resell it for obviously a higher price, and then you make a profit out of that. So it all depends on how much funds you have at your disposal. And
would you say the flipping market in South Africa is great, because we know on like internationally, Americans, they even TV shows on flipping industries as well. Is it as big in South Africa as it is in overseas?
It is. It's just that we don't talk about it. It is definitely. I've met a lot of people. Until I was in real estate, that's when I actually realized that a lot goes on in real estate that people don't know about. So I think the only problem is that people are not exposed to those opportunities. They don't know. There's not enough knowledge going around. But definitely, I think it's quite lucrative. It's quite busy. The other option is to buy from auctions. Look at the auction market, buy properties on auction, and then make improvements and resell it on the market. All
right. We still have more from TINNA. Let's just go for a quick ad break. We'll be back right after this.
Experience the extraordinary.
I like you, girl, in particular. Smooth criminal. Yeah, you got that young.
Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary with Starsat. Experience the extraordinary.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Have you lost it? Move! Stop being so dramatic, Meera.
Challenge your ordinary.
Why don't you start a dance class?
Experience the extraordinary with Starsat.
Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you've missed out on so much.
Yes.
Oh, well, we are still joined by TINNA MASEKO, and now we move on to the other part of her as well, which is about fragrance, because I can smell it.
Already, you can smell it, right?
She has blessed us with her presence and also the fragrance as well.
Yes,
so tell us about it. What am I smelling right now?
Well, you're smelling Coco Mademoiselle by Coco Chanel.
Oh, because I actually thought, it would be
from Viola.
Yes, one of your.
It's actually one of our lines. So what we do is we sell inspired by designer fragrances.
Oh, yes. Okay. So what made you go into like such a business?
Well, the journey began 7 years ago when I actually moved to South Africa. And I sort of kind of stumbled into it. I was selling fragrances for another company, and then I was introduced to somebody that was manufacturing perfumes. And then from there, I just started to manufacture my own. And then I just decided, okay, let me just give it a name, let me brand it. And that's how it started. So I started with 10 perfumes that I made at home on my own. And then it just started to increase from there.
How did you make them? Like, I'm very interested in how you actually create a whole fragrance from scratch.
Well, we had the formulations, the mixtures, and everything. So it's really, it's not a very complex procedure. But then once you understand the process and the formulations, it becomes a lot easier.
Now, I wanted to talk maybe about some of the challenges that you face. Like, you're a whole rounded businesswoman, right? So what challenges have you faced in the industry, and especially as a black woman as well?
I would say the biggest thing is funding. It's very hard to get funding to finance your business, to keep your costs running, your running costs and all of that. So having access to funding is very hard. Those are some of the challenges that I've gone through. And it's the same in real estate as well, because as a real estate agent, you're basically running your own business, because it's a commission-based business. So you obviously have to have the running costs up until you get paid your first commission. So having access to funding is quite a challenge in any business that you want to try to do. Well, that I've personally tried to do. And as a black woman, it's just people trust in you.
Sure.
People trust in that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
So how I've just overcome that is just by delivering. So when you say something and you deliver it, you will now get recommendations, referrals, and then the business will just start to come. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that I've gone through.
So, like, how high is the competition, more especially in the perfume business? Because, I mean, there are a lot of, like, fragrance lines, and, you know, you go into a shop, there's also, like, those tiny, like, there are a lot of, like,
there's a lot of competition. It's very tight competition. Over the last few years, there's been a lot of new companies that have emerged and are making perfumes, because now all of this information, because of the internet,
It's now widely available.
is accessible to everyone. So everyone now knows how to make their own perfume. Everyone now knows. So how do you stay relevant? It's just by improving your product and improving your customer service delivery, so that people can keep coming back to you. But it is a lot of competition, and a lot of people are doing great things out there. So you have to remain innovative in order to remain relevant.
And what are some contributing factors to your success?
As I mentioned earlier, it's customer experience. It's the customer experience that I offer, and also hard work. I've got a crazy work ethic, so when I want to work, I work, and I just basically go out of my way. So I think that sets me apart, and I would say my marketing skills as well, because I've got a marketing background. And what else? Yeah, personal branding and that sort of thing.
Now, this is like my favorite part of the whole show. Oh well, so basically we are still in Women's Month, you know, still celebrating incredible women. So our challenge as Galaxy Universal Network is like, we are challenging you to go out there and adopt a girl who wants, you know, maybe who wants to be in like real estate, or who wants to do perfumes, you know. So you basically like adopt a girl, teach her what's happening, teach her the business, you know, teach her to make her own fragrance as well, you know. So yes, this is what we are challenging you as Galaxy Universal
challenge
Network.
accepted.
Yes, and we are going to follow up on that.
Challenge accepted, of course, yeah, because we don't go alone.
Yes,
take someone with you. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in empowering young girls and empowering other people as well, and giving others the opportunity that probably someone else couldn't give me as well. So yeah, I'm all for women empowerment.
I can't wait for the follow-up.
So what's next? What's in line? What can we expect from TINNA?
It's just growth, personal development, growth, and just stretching myself. I want to be a global real estate brand. That's where I'm headed for.
Yes.
So I'm just busy making major improvements on myself, just so that I can get there.
And advice to any aspiring entrepreneur out there, what can you say to them?
I would say work hard, because we can pray, we can do all we want to do, but if we don't put in the hours, if we don't get rid of things like procrastination, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll do it. That's the challenge. And then we tend to sit and blame others, and find blame on others, and instead of just doing what you need to do to get to where you need to get to.
But TINNA, is it working hard or working smart? Because you get people who work very hard, but they don't even get to where they want to get to.
I agree with you. So working smart is working hard as well.
Yes.
Because when you get to the point where you now have shortcuts to doing what you do, it means you've worked hard for you to know how to get to that.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm a firm believer. My principal always says, if anything is worth doing, it's worth doing right. And that's just stuck with me. So every time when I'm doing something, I'm such a perfectionist, and then I say, I need to do this right. And then the effort that you put, eventually you see the results of that.
Amazing. And where can people get a hold of you and your amazing work?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on all social media platforms, just as TINNA Susan, except on LinkedIn, I'm on as TINNA Susan MASEKO. But on everything else, TINNA Susan, you will find me.
Right, so we know where to go now when we want those beautiful homes. That's all we had right here on the Midday Express. I really hope you are staying inspired with all the features we are having with all these incredible women. From myself, and
And
of course our beautiful guest TINNA. We shall see you again, same time, same place. Goodbye.